And the mouse doesn't want to work. There we go. Yes, everyone, we are back. And here you go. Special treat.
Hello and welcome to Paranormal Verses. That was an amazing intro. This is season 2, and we've been away for a little while, so we've got a few new things. I like the intro; it was absolutely amazing, and I'll let Michael give credit to the person who made it for it, and the music by Matt Atkinson, who's up there, who I'm going to introduce in a second. I just want to thank Michael Kopf for everything he's done these last few months where we've been off and getting everything ready for season 2. And I want to introduce Matt Atkinson as part of the team, as one of our co-hosts. So it's really good to have him there. Before we start, I just want to say happy birthday to Matt on the 5th of February.
Thank you, Kell. Can I just say happy birthday to Kell as well on the 5th of February? We both got the same birthday.
Yeah, I know you can't even let us have my birthday to myself. That's shocking. But anyway, happy birthday for that. And we've also got 2 of our former guests and friends, Catherine Sorelos and Kenneth Torres. I want to wish them a happy birthday today as well. So before we start the show, I just wanted to get that in. So I'm going to introduce Matt first. He's going to tell you a little tiny bit about himself, and then Michael can introduce a wonderful guest. Matt?
Thank you, Kell. Okay, well, my name is Matt. Been interested in the paranormal for a long, long time now. I think I had my first experience, I don't know, when I was young, probably 13 or 14, where I was actually touched on the shoulder by an unseen entity, and it actually touched me so hard that you could actually see the white marks. I don't know if the camera's going to pick this up, but when somebody touches you or something touches your hand with a bit of force, it leaves little marks like that on your hand. I had that on my shoulder, and there was nobody there, so I knew somebody had touched me on the shoulder. I've experienced poltergeist activity where a mug was thrown across the room towards me and actually stopped in midair, flew across the room, stopped, and then gently fell to the ground. Seen full-bodied apparitions, that kind of thing. So yeah, I've been interested in it for a very long time and had quite a few experiences. And I'm actually a member on Kell's team, Geordie Supernatural Research, and we've done a couple of investigations together. We've got more planned this year. So yeah, it's an honour to be part of the show. So thank you very much.
You're welcome. Michael?
Boy, how do I follow that up? So, as some of you recognize me, I am Michael from season 1, making a return. But no, and I want to thank my cousin Tyler Estes of Phoenix Creative Services for hooking us up with our intro, outro, and some ads to help us promote. And Matt, thank you for the music again.
No worries.
And thank you, Kell, for allowing me to come back for season 2 and
well, I had nobody else to do it, you see, Michael. So
I know I bribed them all.
there was nobody else we'd rather have anyway. So yeah, that was a no-brainer.
And I'm excited to be, announcing that, as well as starting at 3 o'clock Central Time, 9 o'clock European Time, that Matt is a full-time host with us now, is one of the changes.
Yeah.
And another change that I'm gonna swipe from the list and share is, instead of doing every other week, we are now going to be 3 Thursdays a month.
Oh my God.
Cool.
It's pretty cool, but it's like a lot of work. But yeah, it'll be fun. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And a little fun transparency is also each month we each get an episode where we get to pick the guest that comes on. And so it'll help us to hopefully get more people, more content, more topics on. But at the same time, it'll be interesting for all of our fans to see if they can figure out who is bringing the guest on, who brought the guest.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. Looking forward to this show.
Me too.
So, Michael, would you like to introduce the guest and bring the guest on?
I will. And there she is.
Hi.
Hi, Olga.
Hi.
So those of you who are fans of mine and watch my other show, The Energy That Surrounds Us, will recognize our guest. And no offense, I'm not going to attempt to pronounce her last name because I am not going to butcher it, because I know I will fumble it up. But I am happy to announce, as our first guest of season 2, is a guest that has a unique talent that has not been on this show before. So that is really cool. And she is a great friend of mine. Comes from, well, I like to say comes from Romania, but I think she's in different areas now. So I'll let her describe that. But without further ado, and I'm sure y'all are done listening to me, I give you Olga.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for inviting me. I'm really excited. I love talking to people who are open-minded and have had various experiences. So actually, I don't feel like I sound like a crazy person. If I talk about something, like you've seen a mug fly, right? So I'm like, oh, okay, so he's gonna be okay with me talking about karma and stuff. Okay, cool. So I feel relaxed. Yeah, no, I'm not from Romania. I'm from Russia, and originally when I was 9 years old, my parents took me to Thailand, and this is where I grew up in Bangkok after 9. And then at 30 something, like, man, I'm really bad with dates, but yeah, I moved to Turkey, I got married, and now I live in Turkey. I live in a Turkish village.
Wow.
And my last name is my husband's name, Aydınoğlu. But my first Russian name nobody could pronounce anyway, too, so nothing changed.
So, Olga, can you tell everyone what it is that you do that is so unique?
What I see doing, what I see myself doing, my occupation, so to speak, is actually travel. I feel that I'm a traveler. And just like I grew up in one place, born in one place, grew up in a different place, ended up in a different place. I consider myself a traveler within myself, also traveler of the soul world, and just like getting to know how everything functions. And by traveling within, I also travel, like by learning how I function, I also learn how the universe functions. So that is a very fun thing for me to do. And as a result of this, I came to this path where I am a shamanic healing practitioner now, and I write things from my visions. They are partly channeled, the way I say it, partly channeled, partly mine. Tales of the Spirit and the Divine. This is the name of my book, to help you find the divine inside, you know. And everything kind of ends up rhyming afterwards. Yeah. And also I do art. I paint my visions, which also carry an energy work. I wouldn't say energy work. It just works in a way that it communicates something on an energetic level. And I kind of created something called shamanic healing art for myself, which is like when I talk to the soul of a person and I ask them, hey, do you have a image to share with this person? Let's say this person wants to, I don't know, have better relationships in their life. Do you have an healing image to show? And then I get an image from their soul. And then I do my best to draw it. And then I give that image to that person. And it's their soul that gave that image to them. So there's a kind of, it's kind of a very long time to explain it, but there is a healing that's happening there, like a conversation with their own soul for that purpose. So that's roughly kind of what I do.
Wow, that's pretty amazing. So, you know, your meditation techniques, what techniques do you use to go into meditation?
I used to meditate differently before I learned shamanism. Now I kind of don't do it in the same way. Everything depends on the purpose. Like what do I want to do? Do I want to get information, or do I want to relax? What do I want to do? If I want to get information or talk to somebody as a soul in the soul world, I would just, I guess from practice, I used to do transcendental meditation, which helped me to relax. And then, I don't know, I think it just got into my system or something, but I don't do that anymore. If I want to communicate, I want to have an experience or something, I just focus on that experience. And I just let everything else calm down. So that's what I do now.
Wow. Another question, do you physically feel what people are feeling when you're having this healing session?
Sometimes, but I like to control it so that I don't. But I kind of see it in a kind of a vision, or like non-physically. And most of my communication is visual, just visions. And together with the visions come the emotions and the cause and effect kind of reactions between what I see. So I guess that's called psychic information, but I don't really hear stuff so much unless there's a reason that I need to hear something, then I do hear it. Most of the time I just see it. So if I can't control, and I don't want to feel someone's pain, actually. So I don't.
I don't blame you.
Well, if I do, then I would be kind of distracted.
Yeah.
Because the purpose is for me to help them. But if I'm just going to go into the agreement and have agreement with them and have the same pain, then I wouldn't be able to come out of it and do the healing. Then that's the way I see it. Or I'd be distracted.
Yeah.
Right.
Totally
And
get that.
also, wouldn't you be at risk of taking it on if you felt their pain and everything?
I would say like it works the opposite way, at least in my experience and for me. If I chose, there has to be something within me already for me to actually feel that pain, because I chose to experience their pain for a reason. So if I'm doing that, I would look within myself and ask myself, why did I choose to do that? Like, what is it within me that wants this experience, that created this experience? And I usually do that kind of work before a session anyway. So I prepare for sessions so that kind of stuff doesn't happen.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Matt, do you have any questions for Olga?
Well, Olga, she's pretty much tapped into what I was going to say for my next question, actually, because I was going to, a bit like yours, I was going to ask her how she gets the information come through. Is it clairaudient or is it like a clairvisual kind of thing? And one of the questions that I put together, I was going to ask her, when she can access people's Akashic records, how does she get that information? How do you get that information, Olga? Does that come through as a visual thing or something else?
So for the Akashic records, I talked to my guides and the person's guides, and I do preparation again to clean everything. That's probably like the number one important thing, to clean everything beforehand, clean the space, clean the energy, clean myself. And normally I would be taken by their guides, and by my guides, there's like a group of souls surrounding me. Like, this is my guys, this is their guys, this is these people. I call them people, everybody, because it's so easy, but okay, they're souls. So they take me kind of like there's a group of souls, and they take me. I usually fly somewhere.
Wow.
So I close my eyes and I have this thing that I like to wear, but I'd like to find a better one. Like, I wear a mask.
Okay. Yeah.
Makes sense.
So that the light doesn't disturb me. But I end up kind of flying to their world, so to speak.
Okay.
And then I get greeted by more guides normally.
Wow.
And normally those guides are saying, they try to relax me. They're like, hey, welcome, everything's fine. We're taking care of stuff. We know what we're going to show you. And then like, oh, okay, cool. And then we fly, and then everything has a meaning. So like, I am kind of flying into their universe, their symbolic universe, or something you can say, where everything has a meaning. And it is only up to me to have a limit of how much I want to understand. So, for example, if I'm flying in a certain landscape, every mountain has a meaning, or the water has a meaning. Why is this where they took me? Why do I see these mountains? And sometimes, so it's something that is like almost like a school field trip that's already prepared for me, because they know that this person's going to ask for me to read their Akashic records. So it's a very prepared thing, and I like it that way. And sometimes I get taken to a very specific lifetime and a very specific moment in a lifetime, and I can feel everything that's happening. Or sometimes I watch from their spirit guide's perspective, who knows all the stuff that this person is feeling and why things are happening. And then I ask, why just show me this? And then they say, because that person needs to heal this pain or something, or that person needs to let go of this. And sometimes it's not a lifetime. Sometimes it's something else. Sometimes it's a soul history type of thing, like with Michael. Oops. So every time it's different. Every time it's like a field trip. And I see things and I feel like I'm there, but also I can feel my chair and I can feel my cats running around, and I can take time off to go to the fridge or something, or open the door to the delivery man. I don't know how it works, but it just kind of works like that.
Yeah.
So when you're in that state then and you can do that, would you say that's almost astral traveling and astral projection? Are you actually, are you traveling astrally to do that, or are you doing something else?
I've been asking myself the same question, and then my guides tell me, like, does it really matter? But I want to make that also that description for myself. I keep asking sometimes my guides, like, am I like astral traveling? And they're saying, okay, they're saying now that it's a matter of your focus. So if I were to be more focused on that experience, it would turn into astral traveling. And if I choose to have my focus partly here, partly there, then that's what I'm experiencing. And that's been like my number one lesson probably in this lifetime. It's, what do you choose to focus on right now? And that's what you'll experience. And I remember I was talking to my guides about something that many people kind of have a problem with. They say, oh, I'm in this physical life, maybe like I don't want to be, or something. I didn't choose this life, or something like that. And, oh, I'm looking forward to, going back to soul world again or something. So, and in my near-death experience, I was actually very angry at my guides too. I didn't want to come back. I was swearing at my guides when I was coming back. So I asked them, like, hey, I don't remember the question, but I was talking about, like, I was considering this life, physical life, as a limitation. Like, why are we so limited here? Oh, I remember now, because I was learning something about the perception, the way we perceive things, our 5 perception senses. And which felt to me like, when I was taken back to this life from the soul world, I felt like I was put into 5 dirty potato sacks around me. And I felt really, really limited as compared to being not in a body. So I was asking them, why this limitation? It's horrible. And they said, you can look at it as a limitation, or you can look at it more usefully as a focus. They said, change the word limitation to focus. Why did you choose to focus your experience to this? That is a better question, they told me. And I'm like, oh, okay. So that's the same explanation for astral travel, and while being able to open the door to the delivery man.
Yeah.
I've got a question. Have you ever seen anything that you didn't really want to see, like something personal that happened to somebody that you didn't want to really see?
For a session, or just like on the street?
Yeah, like as a session with somebody. Did anything ever come up that was like really personal to them, or really terrible that you didn't really want to see? Has that ever happened to you?
No, because the things that I've seen in my soul history while healing myself, when I was learning shamanic healing from my teacher, have been probably the most horrible things I've ever seen. And I haven't seen anything as horrible as that so far. So anything that I see of other people, I don't cringe so much. I don't cringe anymore, because I've seen horrible things in my life or in my soul history. So then I have had to learn to have compassion for myself and forgiveness. And because of that, I don't get a feeling like, I wish I didn't see this about you or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were talking about you've had near-death experiences. Do you want to talk about them?
Yeah. I guess the fun part was that realizing that when I was coming back, it was it was like 5 dirty potato sacks. Yeah.
Hmm.
I actually have like a whole video about explaining why we have 5 perception senses by using the metaphors of potato sacks and the dirt of the potato soil and the fibers as like explanation for karma and all that kind of stuff. And then I just kind of stopped because, okay, you can only take dirty potato sacks metaphor so far. It doesn't explain everything. But yeah, the near-death experience was at 16. I was yeah, I was very crazy about this very handsome boy who I went on a motorbike at the back of the motorbike without a helmet, and we crashed like 5 seconds after I got on the bike. So yeah, it was basically a really big refocusing of what I wanted and what I was focused on in life at 16. I was just going, like, I had too much anxiety. Even though I have had a lot of kind of non-physical spiritual experiences before that, something about me being a teenager and still living in this life, my mental processes were really, really, right now I can say cluttered with all the things that I think I should do and how I can't work it out and how I was just like having too much anxiety and really focusing on things that weren't bringing me joy and happiness at all. So then they kind of pushed the reset button and they helped me to kind of refocus my life. What did you really come here so you could, you know, do all these things like get a super education? I had to have like at least 2 PhDs, get married very young at 21 to a very, very successful, handsome person, have at least like 2 kids before 35 or something. I don't know. I have this really, I guess, teenage stuff. I have to be a CEO of something. I didn't even care what. I mean, that's nonsense. But I didn't see the nonsense. I had to feed all the children from, like, make food from scratch. I had to look good. I had to be like doing yoga and stuff. I had to have my own garden. I had to grow my own food. I have to play at least a few musical instruments. I have to have this. I have to, like, what? This was so much nonsense in my head, giving me so much anxiety. They just cleared it all up. They made me understand that. They're like, do you think that you came to this world for this reason? You know, to do all this? And they also said, what if they said, look, this death came really, really fast, like suddenly. And it wasn't a physical death, but it was a near death. And they're like, look, this type of thing can happen any moment. And your plans, they assume that you're going to live until 90 years old. So they were like, what if you died tomorrow? You know, would you be happy with your life if you died tomorrow or right now? I said, no, I'm not happy with my life. I have to go back and do all those plans. They're like, what if you die in like, let's say 10 years? Would you be happy? No, I have to die at 90 something because I have to do all these plans. And slowly they got me to kind of like to understand, for example, like, oh, you want to do a lot of like PhDs. Okay. Well, they reminded me that you can access any information when you're in soul world. And they're like, do you think you came to have a physical experience so you can learn a lot of physical facts? And then I was like, no. And little by little, they kept asking me these guiding questions, but they didn't tell me one thing, why I came here. But at least I knew why I didn't come here. So it just made me relax a lot.
That's interesting.
Yeah. It was an anti-anxiety pill.
So, Olga, I'm kind of curious, going back about the Akashics real quick. Because I've heard and I've been told the Akashic records have like guardians, and so you can't just go and read other people's records. Have you ever tried to do a session with someone or be like, hey, you know, I'm going to be talking to this person later. Let me go take a peek in advance and see what's going on and be blocked from the Akashics?
I never experienced being blocked, but also it's because I never really wanted to. And that's the way I feel it's that's actually the way my guides showed it to me, how it's protected. It's what reason do you have for accessing it? And kind of like the darker, the shadowy, or is there a word like that, shadowy or a reason, the less you're gonna be able to access it. And not just that, but you're gonna access your own mirror stuff that's causing you to kind of be nosy and look into someone else's thing. But actually, long story short, I just have no interest looking into someone's stuff. So I only, because it takes my time. I prepare myself. I do a bit of karmic cleaning between me and that person. I do forgiveness rituals with that person. So I'm just thinking like, it's an investment of my time. So I'm only going to do it if someone actually asks me. And I don't feel that I have the interest to go into their soul history and look up what is my question? Something for myself? Then I would kind of register that, oh, you're doing that because of fear of this and that. Okay, then let's look at my own fear of this and that instead. But no, I never actually tried to. But I did try, if I know that I'm going to have a session with this person because they already asked, I can take a sneak peek inside. It is going to be limited, but I understand that I'm actually limiting it myself as well because I don't want to go all the way. But I can take a sneak peek if the person already asked. So that kind of opens the door.
Interesting.
Going back to your near-death experience that you had, because I know you've had 2 of them over the years. I was reading your bio. When you had them, were you taken to a different realm when you had the near-death experience? Did you I think what I'm trying to say is that I had one when I was in my late teens, and it was quite a vivid experience, the one that I had. I was in a different realm. I was shown certain things. I was taken on a journey, walking through green pastures, but walking not as we know it. I don't know if you've been to any airports where you get like the conveyor belt that you can sometimes walk on if you want to get from A to B a little bit quicker. That's how I was moving when I was walking. So I was walking, but I was moving at 5-6 times the speed that any normal person would walk. That's what happened when I had my near-death experience, and I was shown a few things and all that kind of stuff. And what I will say is that when I had it, I had this overwhelming feeling of love come through, a love that I've never felt before. It's that intense that you can't even put it into words. And then when I came out of it and woke up, it was a real experience. But that was my NDE. I just wondered if when you had yours, were you taken to a different realm to experience certain things, and then you sort of came back into your body and that kind of thing?
For the first one, I was taken to some place. It wasn't a realm or anything, or nothing I can describe like that. I was in a kind of darkness where kind of nothing existed, but also I was so peaceful, and I didn't want to leave that place. It was just perfect. I can't describe it, but but it was a darkness. But it was such a free darkness.
Now people have described something like that, and they refer to it as the void. I don't know if you've heard anything about that, where they're taken to this darkness, or it's just pitch black, darkness everywhere, but people feel that it's so much ease and just relaxed, and they don't want to go anywhere because it feels so good.
I didn't want to go back totally.
Yeah.
So I wasn't taken to realms, but and also I don't remember the but I can track it. But it wasn't like people described that there was a conversation and people took you somewhere and everything. But for me, it was my guides asking all of those guiding questions so I can make my own decisions and change my life. So that I don't do things that I shouldn't do. I guess I was really going off course, and they were just guiding me. I guess that's the taste of the word guidance, is that they don't tell you what you're supposed to do, or they don't tell you should do this or you shouldn't do this. They just ask you things and they present you with information, and they ask questions that would make you have realizations. That's what happened. But when I realized that I'm going back, I was so angry. I was after that there was a long depression and not wanting to be here at all. I was very angry. But with those 5 potato sacks, I was swearing at them, but then I also realized when I was coming back, it's not my first time, and also I have something to do, and until I finish that thing, I'll keep coming back anyway. And that just broke my heart even more at 16. So, and then later I was just like, I couldn't connect. I mean, when I was 2 years old, I saw one of my previous lifetimes where I was dying. And I also didn't want to die in that life. I wanted to go back there. And so at 2 years old, I already knew that there was another life, that I chose to be here as Olga. But I actually had a fight I was fighting not to be here at 2 years old. And then at 16 years old, once again, I had this broken heart of like, I have to come back here. It was so horrible. And the second near-death experience, I kind of like rather not share how it happened because it's kind of embarrassing. But one day maybe I'll be able to. But the thing that happened was, again, a kind of recalibration of where I'm going with my life. Because at that time I was teaching, I was a school teacher. And I was just, I still couldn't connect to this life because I wasn't doing something I loved. Which was apparently this kind of soul travel. But I used to hide it from people and also from myself, because I thought they would say, oh, you're crazy, and I'd get fired from a job and then I'd have no money. So I thought, okay, I have to pretend like I'm normal, which was very painful. And finally I was about to die, and then my guides came through and they were like, actually, if you want to, this can be your exit point. If you want to, you can die right now. We can arrange that. But they had no judgment in their voice or something. You know how a horrible teacher would say, if you want, go and do that, with like a judgment. But there was no judgment. There was just a loving kind of a respect for my freedom of will. And they said, this can be your exit point. If you decide you want to, you're going now. And, or if you have any other desires, tell us. Basically, like, make your decision. And then I just had this scream from my heart that said no. I was just screaming like, no. Actually, screaming, I don't want to die. I want to live a happy life. I want to have a good relationship that's actually healthy. I want to do what I love. I said all of these things that I really, really want. And then they said, okay, granted, kind of like that. And then I didn't die. And all those things started to come into my life. I got married like less than a year after that. I moved. I quit my job. and I started to learn shamanism, and I went diving into myself. It's like it's really a miracle. I can just say it was a miracle. But the fun thing is that we can actually do this any moment of any second of our life, but we kind of don't think that we can, so we don't. But we can.
Interesting.
So I'm curious, Olga, because we've been listening to you, and you interchanging shamanism and shamanistic healing practicing. Are they the same thing, or are they different, or are they branches of something?
No, I was just learning from one teacher. Yes, I guess I am trying to make a distinction. I want to make sure I'm not calling myself a shaman, because I feel I'm not there. I'm not there. I am just that's why I say shamanic healing practitioner, which takes a lot of words and time and energy, but I do want to make a distinction. I do not call myself a shaman. I learned shamanism from my teacher, Paula Santra. You can find her. And she learned what she learned from her teacher, and who I can't even start to describe all of his credentials, but he is something he calls a master shaman, and he comes from an unbroken lineage from back in the day when before the revolutions and all the killings and things like that, and religion. So he learned it from he learned it all the way and he also learned different traditions, but I learned what was passed down to me from him to my teacher. So I learned from my teacher, Paula Santra, and her. So I want to say that my what I learned was framed by what my teacher gave me, and most of it was actually us learning to heal ourselves. That was the biggest lesson, just diving in constantly and looking within and using all these techniques to heal ourselves. Only after doing that for the formal program was like 2 years, but we did more beforehand and then more afterhand. So only towards the end of the whole healing part, we learned how to do it for other people. But then it took a lot of practice also. So I don't call myself a shaman. That's why I keep using these words in a weird way, probably.
Go ahead, Kell.
No, go ahead. I'll let you ask this one because it was a change of subject there. Go on.
Well, mine is a little bit too, but Olga, if you remember when you were on my show, The Energy That Surrounds Us, and we were discussing when to use shamanic healing practices, and you had described when things are going well, you can improve them. You don't have to settle for. Can you talk some about that? Because I think that's something everybody needs to hear, that it's not just for when you're in pain or hurting, that it can be used to benefit and improve.
Yeah. So if somebody, for example, seeks clarity, maybe they're confused in their life and they're like, what? I don't feel like I'm doing the thing that makes me happy, but also I can't understand what will make me happy, kind of figuring out that direction in life or something. This is just an example. So it's great for having clarity, because we'd be kind of cleaning up all the stuff that's in the way of the clarity. You can also I'm thinking of examples where you're already good, but you want to be better. Like when I take a shower, for example, I do what I learned, the practices to clean myself up and also have a great mood for the day. Like set myself up for the day to enjoy it, and to also practice. Not practice. I forgot the English word. Keeping my healthy limits and boundaries, for example. Going out in the world, maybe, talk to people outside and also keep my healthy limits and boundaries. Or, I don't know, improve anything. I can't think of an example, I guess, because it's like anything. What can you think of?
Well, we were discussing, like, if you were married and having like you were saying, married, having the perfect relationship, the job's going well, and you're able to travel, but you're still feeling like, well, I could be doing more. And you were like, yeah, you could use this to enhance that.
I do that every day, in fact. Yeah. So when I'm preparing for workshops, let's say, everything is kind of interrelated in what I do. So let's say I'm preparing for a workshop that we're actually going to have soon, or connecting with your spirit guides. So I am talking to my guides and they're teaching me how to build a deeper connection. And then naturally they would actually teach me how I can have a better relationship with my guides. So that is me sitting there and improving my life by improving my connection to my guides. And then they're teaching me more stuff. Well, you could get a better connection with us by healing this within you, by clearing resistances to experiencing deep and meaningful relationships, specifically, for example. If you clear your resistance to very deep, meaningful relationships, first of all, you get a better relationship with yourself. You get a better relationship with anything else outside of yourself, with us, guides, with other people, with committing to a certain path in life, for example, which I'm having trouble doing. I'm kind of like floating around, experiencing all kinds of fun stuff, but I haven't committed myself to something very specific yet. And they're hinting, well, you would have a better chance at committing yourself to a path or committing or having better relationships with concepts or understandings or like abstract whatever realizations or something. So okay, so this is my daily kind of life, and since I'm doing that for myself, then I give it out as a workshop or as an article or as a story or as a painting or something like that. So that's what you described as what I'm doing most of the time.
That leads us on to the question that I was going to ask about your paintings. Where do they actually come from? Does it come from like, are you being told what to paint, or does it come from inside you?
It depends on the painting. I mean, it depends on each one. So, for example, sometimes if I see a very weird looking being in the non-physical, I would be impressed with how they look, and then I'd paint them for fun because I want to see them more. Or sometimes I am having a meditation and just going within myself and seeing a certain image. And if I paint or draw that image, in the process, I would actually understand more about it. But also, if it's already on paper, it would help to convey similar concepts to whoever else would look at it.
Yeah. So what do you actually do with your paintings? Do you sell them, or?
So far, I just only sell services where I do shamanic healing paintings for like a personal painting for like I described earlier. But I don't sell my paintings yet because I kind of don't want to say bye to them.
Yeah, I get that.
Also, yeah.
You do that too?
Yeah, I do. I make loads of crafts and stuff, and I make these little jars with crystals and octopus. And it's like I keep saying I'm going to sell them, but I end up with a collection. I don't want to say goodbye to them, so I do the exact same thing. Yeah,
I understand you. Someone actually offered money for one of my drawings, and then I was like, I can't let this go. So
yeah,
sorry, no, you know, I have to have it.
yeah. Definitely had that before.
I have a drawing of octopus as well, like the
God,
soul, the spirit of octopus, the soul of octopus. And when I paint it, sometimes I ask that spirit to have its healing energy, like in the drawing. So when like a phone line to that soul.
Yeah.
And the octopus taught me that it's really good at helping people to get out of very, very difficult situations. So like, let's say there's a situation like a whirlpool and it's just sucking you in and you're like, I can't get out of it. It's like too late. I'm in it too deep. You know, I can't. And then octopus has all the legs and goes like, whew, and he can really, like, he doesn't care that there's a big whirlpool. He just goes like, shh. And that's kind of like one of his healing energies for people who would ask for its medicine, like octopus medicine, is to help get out of really hopeless situations like addictions or depression.
Yeah.
Or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. That's pretty cool.
I would have thought of octopus as a communication aid because, you know, they have ink and that's one way to communicate. It's like, I would have totally thought that's what their meaning was. So that was interesting to learn.
Yeah, there's been a documentary on, I think it was Netflix and that or something like that, about octopus that could like escape from anything. It was meant to be really intelligent. So I get what Olga's saying about obviously getting out of like situations and stuff like that. They're very good at like, escaping. So
well, it's also what Michael said is like he's seeing another side of octopus.
Yeah.
So because I was communicating with octopus based on, and I have my soul history and I have my issues, right? So for me, addiction and depression was an issue to heal. So then octopus showed me like, hey, I can help with this stuff. And for somebody else, it would be something else that octopus could be good at helping. So if Michael's talking about communication issues and ink, then I would say that, you know, that he probably connected to that part of octopus that can help with that. And I like to kind of make a kind of an example of, like, I don't really like to say that this animal, spirit animal, has this meaning, because I'd like to give an example of like, okay, I met Kell, and I'm going to write bullet points, 10 bullet points. What is the meaning of Kell? Okay, so I'm just going to write 10 words. And then if you are going to read those words, okay, those are nice words, but then you're going to probably say that I am much more diverse than this. You can't put me in those 10 words. You cannot confine me in those 10 principles or whatever, or even one principle. Sometimes we say, oh, this animal means this. No, it doesn't. Like, it's a complex soul being. So just like none of us would fit into 10 words, they don't either, right? So yeah.
It's all about viewers there quickly, because while we're talking about octopus or octopi, or whatever you want to call it, we can see on my phone there's one of the jars that Kell makes.
Oh,
so yeah, they're really good.
That's really cute.
Really good.
Clay.
Bit of promotion there for you, Kell.
It reminds me of the Fabergé eggs.
Yeah, I see what you mean. They are.
Yeah.
Very similar.
Yeah, this is beautiful.
Can I just give a quick shout out there? My daughter's just said hello, so she hardly ever watches the show, so I'm going to have to say hello to her.
Yeah, Curbs.
Hi, Kirby.
Hi.
Bless her. So do you want to talk about your books? Where can people find your books?
Yeah, so it's the first book is published on Amazon, so it's an ebook for now, and it's called. I got this because I like to paint. So that's like the cover in watercolor. It's Tales of the Spirit and the Divine, to help you find the divine inside. And this is book 1. So I guess the link, the Amazon link, is gonna be somewhere. I can give it to you guys so you can post it later.
Yeah.
But the books are kind of meant. Yeah, they are kind of partly channeled and partly mine. They're aimed like they are a collection of short stories and poems. The poems, most of the time, they're channeled. They're channeled from my own soul or my spirit guides, and they usually kind of aim to help with a specific problem, or sometimes just to be inspired to be happy. Like what Michael said, does it have to have a problem? No, you can just be inspired to be more happy today than you are. And the short stories, they are kind of, by the way, they're not for children. Okay, they're for adults. They're kind of abstract and surreal. I like to call it magical surrealism, even though the correct term is like magical realism. I don't care. It's like magical surrealism. Yeah, so they are kind of meant to go inside and help with an issue, like deal with fear or deal with some kind of limitation and help to bring on more freedom. And I'm writing a second book now, which is book 2 of this, which will have more short stories and more poems. Yeah.
Excellent.
Wow.
Have you ever thought about putting, do you know the paintings that you don't want to get rid of? Like put them in prints or put them into books? So you still got a copy of them?
Oh, the book has a few of my paintings in it.
Right.
Like the ones that have a connection to the stories. And yeah, I have been thinking about doing the prints, but I just didn't get around to it. You have to go and call somebody, and yeah, haven't done it yet. Still working on my path.
Yeah.
The thing I was talking about earlier, because I feel like I'm almost there, but not there yet.
Well, keep going.
Yeah,
thank you.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Michael, do you have any more questions?
So what is coming up for Olga? What can you tell us that you're working on or promoting right now?
Well, we're going to have a workshop with Chelsea at Turpin and Coxey. She's a dream analysis coach, to help people connect to their guides, which is kind of like what I talked about earlier. And is going to have shamanic healing work to help people connect to their guides, partly by healing their own relationship to themselves. Because what your guides are going to talk to you about? They're going to talk to you about you. And if you want to actually hear those messages, then you better have a healthier relationship to yourself, so that you actually want to hear those messages. Because if you don't want to hear those messages, they won't. It's like blind. It's like a deaf ear. So we'll be working on that. And also I'm building some courses. And the first one will be, my guides called it Remember Yourself Anew. And apparently this is what I am working on first. And as I'm working on it, I am writing it down, and then I'll do a video. So every course is going to be something that I'm going through first, guided by my guides. And then my guides are actually helping me to write the courses. So I'm just like in front of a blank page, and they're telling me things like, oh, you should structure it like this. It should have 3 sections. This should have 4. What are the sections? Wow. Write it down. So, and I'm like, oh, I didn't know I could do it. They're like, yes, you thought life is suffering. It's not. Get on with the problem. Come on, let's make it easy and happy. So,
can you just send them my way for them to do my book as well, so I can get it finished?
You can talk to your guides. You can connect to your guides, talk to them, and everybody has that connection. Everybody. It's not for some people. Mm-hmm. And that's partly what I want to help people do. It's like, I love it when people realize that, oh, I can connect to whatever I want, whatever I want. And I have this kind of ongoing project with the runes, Elder Futhark runes, where we do one video, like with a few friends, and everybody connects to one rune. But we don't tell each other what we got. So psychically, we connect to one rune. Then we get together online like this and start a recording and describe what every person got. And then we just have this magical experience where, we kind of got the same wordless thing, but we're putting it in different words.
Wow.
And learning about concepts in life like that. And it's an ongoing project. We have different guests. And sometimes some guests never really connected to stuff much. But when they try and they do get stuff, they go like, well, I can connect to this stuff just like everybody else. Like all the people who are okay calling themselves psychic or whatever. I love to have people experience this kind of connection and go like, whoa, I can do stuff. I can do this.
Yeah. Just for reviewers, if they want to be able to get in touch with you or anything, where can they find you?
They can go to YouTube and type Expansionscapes. This is at the bottom over here. I wrote Expansionscapes. I call myself Expansionscapes. So they can go to YouTube and type Expansionscapes. Or they can go to my Facebook group, which I guess you'll put a link to it. I have a website which has a weird link to it as well. I guess go look at the links that are in the description box. But if you type Expansionscapes and Olga in Google, I bet you're going to find me.
Excellent.
Yeah. Or YouTube is better.
Excellent. Anyway, it's just past the hour, so we're going to have to leave it there. But
there's one more thing Olga forgot. And I'm a little hurt by this, Olga. You and I are doing monthly chats on topics.
We are. Oh, do you mean the question answer thing?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I for some reason I felt like you weren't too sure about it, so I'm like,
oh no,
it's my own thing. I need to heal within me. Yeah. So I'm excited about that. We should totally talk about various topics. Yeah, and also I have an Etsy shop where I sell my sessions. So if you go to Etsy and you write Expansionscapes, you will find me and all of my services. Yeah, and also I teach people how to connect, like psychic practice. I teach people how to connect to their guides, how to connect to their soul, how to deal with stuff if they see too many like souls or spirits that are bothering them or something. So we do healing for that so that they don't have all that noise in their life. This kind of stuff. Yeah.
Cool.
That's interesting.
Mm.
Absolutely interesting. Okay, so I guess what we've got to do now is close the show and thank Olga for coming on. It's been really, really interesting. I've never actually met anybody, I don't think, that has obviously dealt with Akashic records and stuff like that. So that's really interesting. It's a really interesting subject. So, but thank you very much for coming on the show, and it's been amazing. Thank you very much. And thank you to my two co-hosts for all the questions and everybody in the chat. So, Michael?
Yeah, so thank you, everyone. And stay tuned because we will be back. Oh, I'm on the wrong page of my calendar. Is it next Thursday? No, it will be March 7th, the first Thursday of March, which happens to be in 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Yes, another break.
And then will be March 7th, 14th, and 21st, if all goes according to plan. And stay tuned to the Facebook group page because we'll be announcing there when we are ready to announce who our guests will be. And and Matt, what do you got?
Yeah, just going with it. Just going with the flow. We've got ideas. There's people we want to bring on. So, yeah, we'll keep everyone posted as and when. We'll be putting little promos up on Facebook and everywhere else just to, keep the ball rolling. And, yeah. I just want to say thanks again to Olga for tonight. It's been a really good show and really interesting. And, it's been really fascinating. So thanks again, Olga.
And thank you guys so much. I had my cat almost walk on the keyboard and break everything, so I couldn't say thank you. But no, it was really exciting to talk to you guys. It was interesting. And I wish you good luck and everything fantastic on the show. I hope you guys enjoy every episode.
Just did you see Brian's?
Yes, I did. I saw it, yeah. Very soon, Brian. Very, very soon, I hope. Just got to get a few things in place first. But, yeah, it's going to be soon. So we'll definitely keep you updated on that one. And, watch this space, as they say. Yeah.
Yes, and I want to thank Olga, too, because it was... in full transparency, I messaged her and I was like, hey, are you free this Thursday? And she's like, why? I'm like, we're premiering a show. Do you want to be on it? Okay. I had like no idea what we were going to do. So
I asked why, because it's midnight for me. So I'm like, technically I'm free, but why? For what purpose? If it's something very active, I have to think about it. But no, this was really fun.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
I'm not sleeping.
Well, we better let you get to sleep then anyway. But thank you again. Michael, I'll let you close up then.
Actually, I'm going to defer to the new host, Matt, to close.
Well, here we go. All right, yeah. Well, I suppose I need to practice, don't I? Okay, I'd just like to say thanks to everybody for watching. Thanks again to our guest, Olga, tonight. Thanks to Kell. Thanks to Michael. And we'll see everybody next time, which is going to be in a couple of weeks' time. So we'll close the show out now. Thanks again. See everyone soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.